A native of Parsippany, New Jersey, not too far from here with our national anthem. Time now for the introduction, and we begin with our 6th seed, Bill O'Neill.
The number 6 seed owns 3 Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour titles, the defending U.S. Open champion from Levittown, PA, the real deal, Bill O'Neill.
Huge family and local support tonight, Randy, for Bill. That can be a positive and a negative as well.
A lot of pressure bowling in front of family and friends. I can speak from experience and making some match play and television appearances with family and friends there. A lot of pressure, but a lot of fun.
And way right of target on his opening effort. And that's what we're talking about. You can get very amped. Not only is it a major, but you're rolling in front of a lot of folks, and yeah, the look away.
Almost looked like he was distracted.
So he was able to clean that one up and take a seat with the spare.
The number 1 qualifier made 2 telecasts at the 2010 PBA World Series of Bowling. He owns 8 international medals representing Canada. Dan, the man, MacLelland.
Really nice young man, and certainly one of the up-and-comers on this PBA. Quiet. His 5th 20 finish, his 4th top 10 finish. He was 6th at the TOC. This, his first appearance at a U.S. Open.
Well, you're right, Rob. Dan MacLelland just spills out class. You talk to this kid, he's just a class act. He's mature beyond his 25 years of age, a really nice kid. And when you talk to the superstars out here, the accomplished veterans, they all say the same thing. This is a good kid, good young man. But wasn't it me that said to watch out for this kid a few months ago, that this guy had game?
And an open frame for the promising Canadian in match number 1. And Dan, I know you're going to need some time to step back after that first frame. You had the option on picking which lane you wanted. Why did you pick to start on the right?
I picked to start on the right. I just wanted to build a finish last. Give myself the opportunity to just, you know, take one shot at a time and put the pressure on him.
All right, Dan, thank you. We appreciate Dan joining us live. I mean, it takes a lot to have a live conversation with us in the midst of a major.
And then, especially after I got done telling you how much game he had, and he misses the 3-6-10. But, you know, the whole thing about U.S. Opens is avoiding open frames and making your spares.
And this one won't be all that easy either for MacLelland. Seeking his first ever Lumber Liquidator PBA Tour title. Here's his effort in the 2nd.
That tremendously high backswing, a lot of power. You see the hand up the back part of the bowling ball to try to control the downlane reaction. And that's a cell phone.
So cell phone going off in the crowd, and Dan wisely steps back and takes a breather. And Randy, you touched on just how mature this young man is, and he's had to grow up quickly. His dad passed away in 2008, and his father, Leonard, was his biggest supporter. He happened to win a regional on Father's Day. A very emotional moment for him. And back-to-back open frames for Danny Mac.
Yeah, and a really tough start for Dan. And you know, that's the thing. He makes the spin. If he would have made the 3-6-10 in the first frame and convert the baby split, it's 18 and a spare in the 2nd frame. Right now, he's down 22. Bill O'Neill's bowled 1 frame.
still without a strike here in match number 1, and that shouldn't be overly surprising because one of the themes of the U.S. Open, Randy, is just how difficult the lane conditions are here at the U.S. Open.
Without question, no free willy to the right or a bunch of hold in the middle part of the lane. You got to be very accurate, not only with location, but with speed and rotation as well.
Back-to-back spares for your defending U.S. Open champ.
We've got a really good look at Bill O'Neill's form there, and I think it's just flawless. I mean, he's a really strong kid to begin with, so he's got a great base at the foul line, but he's been working really hard on getting his ball into the swing a little bit sooner. As you see the equipment that he's using, he's trying not to get too jacked, but he's using a raw hammer jacked. And Rob, one of the things you try to do as a player on any telecast, but especially a U.S. Open, is you try to somehow find a way to breathe and control the nerves and the heart rate. And when your opponent starts open, that usually helps to free your swing up pretty quick.
Now let's see how Dan MacLelland, the young man from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, can respond in the third. Danny Mac just missing that 10-pin.
You know, one of the interesting things in speaking with the players that made the telecast is, you know, this week when you left a 10-pin, you really didn't get too upset because you knew you left yourself something you could make, a single-pin spare. So it was okay.
It was Norm Duke, our #1 seed, who gave us that quote just a few hours ago. We'll see Duke in action tomorrow afternoon.
Hey, look at that.
So a mark for Danny Mac. That's one to grow on.
Well, it's not hard to root for Danny Mac, and again, I can't say enough about his talent. He's proven it this season as you take a look at his arsenal, not going with the strongest in the bag, but deciding to go with the outburst, like O'Neill not using the strongest ball. I think the reason is because they're trying to go as straight as they can early on in this fresh U.S. Open oil pattern, something straight in between second and third arrow.
We begin the fourth. Danny Mac still seeking a strike. We talked about how challenging the U.S. Open oil pattern is. We'll have more on that in the next coming segment, but you talk about the grind that is the U.S. Open. These guys are here for, on average, 12 hours a day, bowling, bowling, bowling. To make matters worse for Danny Mac, he got hit with a bout of food poisoning late last night, told us only got about 2 hours of sleep. Still able to make the show, still seeking a strike, and there is his third open frame. He said, "I'm coming for you, Tom." A shout out to our friend Tom Doherty, who famously dropped a 100 on national television at the TOC a few weeks ago. So a huge early opening here for your defending U.S. Open champ, Bill O'Neill.
What a great shot there. You know, you talk about Dan MacLelland and the class act that he is. Well, this young man here is cut out of the same mold. You won't meet or find a nicer guy than Bill O'Neill. He's a class act, and
comes from his parents as well.
Absolutely.
Who are here in attendance.
Yep, just a great family, great upbringing, and just a nice young man, but obviously one of the best players out here on this tour.
Early on in the season, it was Bill O'Neill who was your favorite for Player of the Year honors. Mika Koivuniemi's really stolen that mantle. Mika, your third seed. You'll see him tomorrow. There's Bill's dad to the left, Bill Sr., and right over Bill's right shoulder, almost in the middle of the screen, is his lovely wife, Christy, a great supporter of what he has done. It's always a pleasure to see that smiling face at the bowling center when we walk in.
Yes, sir.
Strike number 2 for O'Neill. O'Neill needing to win here and then in the next match versus Ryan Schaefer to move on to tomorrow's championship round, and you can see it live at 3 Eastern on ESPN. 90 minutes of action. Norm Duke, your #1 seed. Tommy Jones, your 2 seed. Mika Koivu-Niemi, your 3 seed. How about that for a loaded trio waiting for you on Sunday? Ball change to Danny Mac, and it results in his first strike. Good change.
So far.
Well, it beats 3 open frames out of his first 4 efforts.
And quite honestly, those were 3 opens that were makeable spares, not the easiest spares to make. 3-6-10 in the first, baby split 3-10 in the second, and then it was the 3-6-9 in the third. However, if he converts all 3 of those, we have a ball game.
This match still without a pair of strikes for either participant.
And that's what you expect in a U.S. Open final.